Where's Mike Pence at? Where's Mike Pence at? Where's Mike Pence? It was a bad day in the neighborhood of the Capitol. It was a bad day in the neighborhood of the Capitol. And I'm looking for Mike Pence. I'm looking for Mike Pence so I can thank him and congratulate him for being a civil servant and doing his duty and making sure he certified that election and stood his ground for what he believed in. It was probably a tough decision for him, but I appreciate that. It's an interesting world that we're living in these days, and we all need to stick together. But the funny thing is, last episode was terrible, right? Last episode was terrible because I didn't look good. Because I was storming the Capitol, and then I had to go get chopped up. So the feds was coming to look for me. So I went to Mifflin Street Cuts, and they took care of me. So I look a little bit different. But apparently somebody was wearing this hat too. So I'm not going to change all this just so my face isn't on recognition, so they don't know who I am. But glad you guys are tuning in. We do this every Monday, starting around this time. I'm your host, DJ Lowell. And today we're going to have a great show. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. Beautiful day in my neighborhood. Be mine. But you be mine. You be my neighbor. All right, we had to change that up just to make sure people don't facial recognitions and whatnot. Okay, DJ Lowell here, Between Two Perms. We do this every Monday. So here's what we're going to do. First up, we're going to talk about our inspirational quote. We all know that today is Martin Luther King Day, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Day. So I'm going to give you some quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King. First quote that we have, I'm going to give you all three of them. It's pretty awesome. First quote, this is Black Star, by the way. You know what I'm saying? This is a shout out to the Navy. My brother was in the Navy. We appreciate our military. My beard is looking extra fly. Hair is looking good. Mifflin Street Cuts. You guys are going to see them at the end of the episode. They're dope. Next week's going to be, we'll talk about that in a minute. Quote from MLK. The limitation of riots, moral question aside, is that they cannot win and their participants know it. Hence, rioting is not revolutionary, but reactionary because it invites defeat. It involves an emotional catharsis, but it must be followed by a sense of futility. That's one. Another one, everyone always talks about science versus religion. Another quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. Science investigates, religion interprets science. Science investigates, religion interprets. Science gives man knowledge, which is power. Religion gives man wisdom, which is control. Science deals mainly with facts. Religion deals mainly with values. The two are not rivals. Ha ha! Dr. Martin Luther King. Last one. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Ooh, that's deep right there. That's heavy right there. Now, next thing we're going to give you is, oh, wait a second. Always got to burn some incense. Every episode. These episodes, once again, is coming in every Monday. And I don't know who these people who are downloading my audios. You guys are missing out if you're not watching me on the YouTube channel. So I'm going to drop you my YouTube channel, because if you're not seeing what's going on, you only get half of the experience. I don't think my voice is all that entertaining or sexy or anything like that. But you got to see what's going on. Okay, the word of the day. The word of the day is brought to you by the Bagel Place. And the reason I say that is because I was out hanging out with my friend Ringo, who owns the Bagel Place, and we're going to go check out his business next week. One day we're out late night, having a good time, talking. Hopefully these perms don't catch on fire with my incense. So let me move this over here. We're out late night talking politics, having cocktails, talking politics, like every smart individual does at 4 o'clock in the morning. And he realized that I kept using the word incorrectly. The word is extrapolate. I kept using the word incorrectly. I was halfway using the word. I was thinking extrapolate, a big conversation. When I extrapolate that, the little thing I would take away from that conversation is X, Y, or Z. That's half of what it really means. But extrapolate means to project or deduce from something known, to infer. George's estimates were extrapolated from last year's data. He simply took all the old numbers and doubled them. Jacob came up with the probable recipe by extrapolating from the taste of the cookies he had eaten at the store. By extrapolating from a handful of pottery fragments, the archaeologists formed a possible picture of the ancient civilization. To extrapolate, a scientist uses the facts he has to project to facts outside. To intrapolate, he tries to fill the gaps within the data. So to extrapolate, to take something, a small sample size, and project of what a bigger sample size would be based on the evidence that you have. Now, again, thank you, Ringo, for checking me on that and let me know that was wrong one day. I started using it different. So next up, we're going to give you guys a Black First. Now, keep in mind, we do this every week. We're going to do this every week as long as episodes are running. And we'll definitely keep it going, because next month can be Black History Month. Of course, it's the shortest month of the year, but we'll talk about that next episode. And they're going to be doing Black First like every day. But anyway, today's Black First has something in common with myself and Kim Kardashian. What do I mean? I mean that one of these days, I want to be a lawyer. Kim Kardashian is going to be a lawyer. I always bring up Kim Kardashian in these episodes for some reason. I don't know why that is. Anyway, one of today's Black First is Charlotte E. Ray in 1872. The first Black woman lawyer in the United States and the third woman admitted to law practice in this country was Charlotte E. Ray. Did you know that? I didn't know that. In 1872. As a graduate of Howard Law School in Washington, D.C., she was automatically admitted to practice in the lower courts of the district. And on April 23rd, 1872, she became the first Black woman admitted to practice law before the Supreme Court. Did you know that? She practiced law in front of the Supreme Court, and she was Black in 1872. This is fascinating. Ray was born in New York City. Hampered by her gender, she eventually became a teacher in the Brooklyn schools. She attended National Women's Suffrage Association, held in New York City in 1876, and was an active in the National Association of Colored Women. Ray's father, Charles Bennett Ray, 1807-1886, was a notable abolitionist, minister, and editor. There's your Black First. Check her out. Charlotte E. Ray, first Black woman to argue for the Supreme Court. You gotta know your knowledge. I'm gonna give you another one. Your next Black First is Aretha Franklin. I got this for Christmas. It's a 40 ounce, but it's just water. Everyone's always like concerned about, oh, you look like you're drunk on your episodes. No, I'm not drunk. I'm just high on life, high on this blackness. Okay. Aretha Franklin, in 1986, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, was the first Black woman selected for the induction of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. At the age of 12, Franklin sang her first solo in New Bethel Baptist Church in Detroit, where her father was a pastor. She later joined the quartet directed by James Cleveland. She turned to blues in the 1960s, and in 1967, two of her albums sold more than 1 million copies each. Franklin won more than 15 Grammy Awards, and in 1994 received a Grammy Legend Award. So those are your two Black Firsts. Quote of the day, word of the day, Black First. We do it every episode. Now, let's get into specs. What are specs? Sports, politics, current events, pop culture, entertainment, and comedy. Specs. All right, first up, politics. let's talk about Biden. Biden got his second dose. It's important to get the first dose, then get the second dose. And what I'm understanding is there are 2 more vaccinations that have been approved, that have been submitted for approval. So we have 2 already, 2 companies, and now 2 more companies are submitting their vaccinations for approval. So that's good news. And so Biden got his second dose. That was interesting. Trump was impeached again. I mean, it is what it is. 10 House Republicans joined and in on this process. So we'll see what happens going there. Then 100 plus individuals were arrested for storming the Capitol. And that list is growing. They've got thousands and thousands and thousands of videos, pictures, information that was submitted to them. So the FBI is combing through that stuff. And if you were at the Capitol, I'm just throwing out there. Some dude, funny situation, some dude was storming the Capitol. Nobody knew who he was, but his ex-wife called him out. I'm just saying, yo, if you got enemies and they see your face, they coming for you. The FBI is coming for you. Just throwing it out there. Give you a heads up. Me, after I stormed, I had to change my look. I looked homeless, then I went to Mifflin Street Cuts so I could look less homeless. So hopefully, I had hair, all that stuff. Hopefully, feds ain't coming after me. Now, you all know that's a joke, because there wasn't no black people storming the Capitol. You didn't see one black person. We would rather storm and ransack Foot Locker versus the Capitol, okay? And I just want to throw something out there. You know, a dude takes a knee, and that's disrespectful to the flag. But someone who thinks they're a patriot storms the Capitol and ransacks it and threatens politicians' life. But that's not disrespectful to the flag. I'm just here to ask questions. And something that was very profound, the woman who got shot, everyone said, hey, you know, we're upset about this. The woman got killed, she got shot. And someone said something that was very interesting to me. I'm not going to have sympathy for you, for a woman who went to the Capitol, broke law, and got shot, when you don't have sympathy for a woman who was sleeping in her bed and got shot. Just throwing it out there. All right, so another thing about politics which was very compelling to me, Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches in sports history, declined the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor a civilian can get from the president. He declined it. I had to research to see if anyone in the history of this great country has ever declined the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's fascinating to me. Bill Belichick said in his statement that he's got to think about his family, and he's got to think about the Patriots organization, so he declined it. So that was something that was interesting to me. Specs bets going on in sports. Talking sports, the Steelers last week when we were watching this, as we were filming last week, the Steelers game was on. Steelers lost to the Browns, which was compelling. Baker Mayfield, hey, that was great. I thought it was awesome. Baker Mayfield finally getting his due. Everyone's always hating on him because he's got all these commercials, but he's not winning any games and all this other stuff. Baker Mayfield finally won. Just doing great. Then they go on to play the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, and it was a great game. It was a great game. Baker, they lost by 5 points, which was very, very close to the Super Bowl defending champions, the defending Super Bowl MVP, Patrick Mahomes. He got knocked out of the game with a concussion. We'll have to see how that turns out. There's usually a concussion protocol out of abundance of caution for his safety. So we'll see what happens with that. Switching gears real quick. I hate to say it, we didn't predict this correctly. The Crimson Tide, Alabama Crimson Tide. They won the national championship. What are you gonna do? Alabama. Good job. Congratulations. Nick Saban, I mean, if he doesn't coach another day, he's gonna go down as the greatest coach, college football coach of all time. He passed Bear Bryant, and he's got 7 national championships at the collegiate level. So good job. Those again. That's men among boys, and they're playing that. Back to professional football, the Packers beat the Rams, and it was the number 1 offense against the number 1 defense, and the number 1 offense prevailed. Now, and then Brady. So the Packers are going to get to play the Tom Brady and the Bucks. Now, you want to talk about that situation with, the breakup between Brady and Belichick. It's serendipitous that we're talking about both of them on this particular episode. So far, who's winning this argument? It's Tom Brady. Everyone wants to say, who was it, the chicken or the egg? Who was better in regard to all their success? Was it Brady or was it Belichick? So Brady leaves. takes a team and kind of builds a team around him, gets to do his own thing. He's going to his 14th conference title. And Belichick and the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs. So currently, but don't get it twisted, Belichick is coming back. He's not rebuilding, he's reloading. So now we had, in yesterday's football game, we had the 40-40 club. We had Tom Brady 40 plus against Drew Brees 40 plus. Two great Hall of Fame careers. It was a great game, and Brady prevailed. And so it's going to be Brady against Aaron Rodgers. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did beat Green Bay earlier in the season, so we'll see how that goes. In regard to basketball, LaMelo Ball, all I can say is LaMelo Ball is balling out. I mean, everyone who slept on him and didn't take him as the number one pick, Michael Jordan was smart. Hopefully, Michael Jordan, the owner of the Charlotte Hornets, hopefully they go far into the playoffs this year. It's exciting to watch this guy play. He's doing some pretty cool things. Now, if we talk about current events, again, in regard to the situation of the storming of the Capitol, all we see on the news these days, and I was watching The View the other day, and by the way, The View is a great news source sometimes if you don't have time on your hands. Representative Pramila Jayapal, I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I apologize. She's a congresswoman. She's a Democrat from the great state of Washington. She said on The View that there were 3 members of Congress that they know helped coordinate the attack. And I got to thinking when I heard about that. It reminds me of a scenario. It reminds me of Fredo in The Godfather. Every time you learn something, you got to go back to The Godfather because it teaches you so much. And it was like one of those situations where Fredo didn't know exactly what they were going to do. Fredo just kind of, he just kind of thought they were going to scare Michael, not try to kill him, right? Just try to send him a message. And that's what I feel happened in the whole situation with the people in Congress and people in the Capitol Police. I feel like they didn't know to what extent these people were going to do what they were going to do. But now you see what happens. The intelligence was there. And somehow some people were letting these people know which offices, where to go, giving them tours of the White House and all that stuff. All I can say is I knew it was you, Ted Cruz. I knew it was you, Jim Jordan. You broke my heart. Talking about current events, again, we talked about the vaccinations will be submitted, so that's good news. We're at, right now, 24 million cases of COVID and 400,000 people dead. Hopefully, President-elect Biden's got a more expedient process to get people cured from it. Trump was banned from social media, and it's reported that 73% of misinformation has dropped 73% since Trump has been banned from social media. There's definitely a correlation there. And as I've recommended to all of you, and I've watched myself, The Social Dilemma, it states that on Twitter, fake news travels 6 times faster than real news. So I think that there is definitely a correlation there. All right. Next thing we want to talk about in pop culture is The Bachelor. We're fascinated by this because, again, it's a black first. It's a black guy who's a bachelor. But some funny things that I picked up from watching it, and I hate those type of shows, but you got to watch it just to be informed, water cooler talk, make sure that you keep up with everyone, know what they're talking about. Only thing I always try to find something funny. That's where we are between two perms. It's a place for learning and laughter. What I thought was funny was they did a photo shoot where every single girl was supposed to pretend like it was her wedding day with Matt, right? And the cameraman, the photographer, I thought he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, you be the judge. You let me know what you think. Another thing is all these girls are walking up to go get their photo shoot. I saw this tall African-American figure with short hair, and I was like, yo, Matt, this guy's dope. He's leading the crowd. And I found out it wasn't Matt. It was Chelsea or Chalicia, whatever her name was. Black girl, good looking. She got a short, nice little face just like him. She might have went to Mifflin Street Cuts. I don't know. But she was leading the charge. And I was like, yo, Matt's the man. It wasn't Matt, it was a girl. Check it out for yourself. Next thing I want to talk about is Ken Jennings. Yeah. Ken Jennings has taken over the lead of hosting for Jeopardy. That's big shoes to fill. I think personally, as someone I'm also a trivia host, I'm an entertainer. I think he's doing a fantastic job. Obviously, he was the GOAT. He was the greatest Jeopardy player of all time, and he's familiar with that franchise, and he's familiar with how everything works. His interaction with the players, his interaction with the home viewer audience, his asking the questions, being able to articulate the words and everything he does, spot on. I don't think they'll give him the job permanently. I think they should. I don't think they'll give it to him permanently because I think that's a very coveted job when you talk about show business. So it'll probably go to someone who is more of a veteran and has put in their due more than Ken Jennings. But me personally, if I had a vote, which I don't, I'd say give it to him. He's doing it. It's like, to me, it's a smooth transition from Alex to him in regard to when they were doing like the greatest of all time. So, all right. Next, we want to talk about something, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that's interesting to me. Whew. They always say history repeats itself, right? People say that a lot. I mean, when they brought back afros, when they brought back bell bottoms, skinny jeans, skinny ties, the Titanic, all that stuff, they say history repeats itself. It's told that history has a tendency to repeat itself as memory fades. Events from the past can become events of the present. Some, like author William Strauss and historian Neil Hope, argue that it's due to the cyclical nature of history. History repeats itself and flows based on generations. Why do I say that, ladies and gentlemen? Because we're all happy to see 2020 gone. Bye, sayonara 2020, right? But if history repeats itself, what do we talk about? All we talked about in 2020? We talked about the death of Kobe Bryant. We talked about COVID-19. And we talked about Trump impeachment. All 2020. 2021 is not starting off great. I already impeaching Trump again. Talking about more COVID, stronger COVID than before. All I got to say is LeBron James, stay away from helicopters. Do not get on a helicopter, okay? For the sake of everybody. We don't want 2021 to get off on the same start as 2020. 2020 will be gone. All right. Yeah. Crazy stuff. All right. So, but one thing I will say that's cool about 2020 is we all got some new fashion advice. So we're all wearing masks right now. We're all fashionable with our masks, and it's cool. I don't ever want to unwear a mask. When I'm wearing a mask, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in witness protection. I feel like, ex-girlfriends, drug dealers, bill collectors, family members, law enforcement, they can't figure out who I am. Now, of course, I'm not really running from the law, but if you're in a situation where you're getting pulled over and you've had a couple of cocktails, you got a mask on, and the officer says, have you been drinking? And all you got to say is, out of abundance of caution, I'm not going to remove my mask for your protection and for my protection. Now, obviously, I'm not encouraging anyone to go out and drink and drive. But if you're going to work the next day, you've had a couple cocktails, hungover from the night before, you won't lose your job because they won't smell the alcohol in your breath. Masks are a great thing, and it's a fashion sense. This is another way to just show you some swag. So I'm going to miss Trump for after he's gone. Congratulations, Mr. President. Job well done, whatever. As a comedian, you really can't tell jokes about Trump because it's too easy. So you always wanted to figure out a way that you could compliment him. That's the challenging part as a comedian, to tell a joke that you're complimenting Trump, not making fun of him. All the jokes making fun of him, I've already been told. But there's a compliment. We want to know about this idea about grabbing him by the genitalia. Okay. Grabbing him by the genitalia. There's only 2 known cases to human that someone have grabbed someone by the genitalia. First was in Crocodile Dundee, and I coined the phrase as Crocodile Dundeeing somebody. Crocodile Dundee, in fact, grabbed someone by the genitalia to, in fact, find out if that person was a man or a woman. Remember that. Watch that movie, Crocodile Dundee. Trump was the second person known case of grabbing someone by the genitalia. RuPaul tells a story years ago. RuPaul tells a story years ago that him and Donald Trump, this is you can fact check, and talk to RuPaul about this. RuPaul says that he was making out with Donald Trump. and they were making out passionately. And Donald Trump ended up grabbing him by the genitalia and finding out, just like Crocodile Dundee, Trump Crocodile Dundee RuPaul. And he found out that RuPaul, in fact, had something down there. I don't know what they go by. The references to he, she, they, their. I know what the pronouns are these days. But so then RuPaul says Trump ran off like in a scurry when he found out that RuPaul's situation. So what we can say about Trump is he's not a bigot. He's not sexist. He's not racist. He made out with the black drag queen. Give it up to you, Mr. President. Hey, good job. Hey, just spread love. Spread love. And then the funny thing is, he described the idea of grabbing him by the genitalia as locker room talk. And I can tell you, I played football in college. I played football in high school. I had a shower in high school. It was real uncomfortable, real weird. Been in a lot of locker rooms. Never has anyone ever said things like that in the locker room. And here is, I think, white privilege at its finest. This guy talks about grabbing him by the you-know-what, and he gets to go to the White House. If I grab them by the you-know-what, I'm going to jail, okay? They are arresting black people for having coffee, for having barbecues, for doing their job. If I grab someone by the you-know-what, you're going to jail. But the good news is, I hear like Trump is giving out pardons like candy. So if I do go to jail for grabbing them by the you-know-what, which I won't do, Mom, because I know you're watching, I'm just going to write Trump a nice little letter. Hey, man, we got something in common, bro. Hey, you grab the by, I grab the by. What it is? Can I get a pardon? Last thing I want to talk about is the fact that now we have averted a nuclear holocaust. Not nuclear holocaust, nuclear annihilation. If you ever watched the movie I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, great movie. Keen Ivory Wayans, only Wayans brothers you really need to know. He's the main Wayans brother you really need to know. In that movie, the beginning of that movie, he said people were dying of OG. What is OG? Gold overdose. They're having too much gold, too much swag with too much bling, and they were dying of it. A gold overdose. So I submit to you, we were all about to die of OP. What is OP? Phone overdose. This dude was addicted to his phone, and it was just a matter of time before he was going to tweet something or say something to the wrong world leader, and they was going to set them off, Kim Jong-un or whoever, and annihilate all of us. But now he no longer has access to the nuclear codes, and he no longer has access to social media. Somebody said something about their 8-year-old daughter had more access to social media than Trump himself. I thought that was funny. I thought that was a low blow, but it was hilarious. As a proud person who likes to vote, I thought that was a low blow. As a comedian, hilarious. All right. All the while, I thought we were gonna die. We were gonna die of OP, and all the while, my life, all I ever wanted to die from was OPP. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We do this every Monday, 25 to 45 minutes. I want to throw a shout out to all the businesses that we featured before. The first business was 1518 Samson Bar and Grill, great restaurant. Check it out in Center City. Second one was Israeli Krav Maga. They're in Cherry Hill. We're gonna follow up their episode with another episode to show the development in my training because the audio wasn't immaculate. Oh, that was the word of the day, first episode. It wasn't immaculate. It wasn't spectacular, so we're going to do another episode about that one. This week, right now, you're going to see Mifflin Street Cuts. They just faded me up. They're dope. A barbershop in South Philly that I go to. I frequent quite a bit. Next week, we're going to do the bagel shop. Week after that, we're going to focus in on singing lessons. You guys have been fantastic. For all you guys that are doing audio, whoever all these audio downloads are, it's great. For all the audio downloads, I know who you guys are. You guys are awesome, but you guys got to check into the YouTube channel. That's great. And just a reminder, Between Two Perms, this is a place for learning and laughter. Live, love, laugh. All right, DJ Limo here. Today's local business that we're going to feature is Mifflin Street Cuts. We're over here about 1130 Mifflin Street Cuts. I've been coming here for a long time. Obviously, every business that we feature is some business that we frequented. Right next door to over there is Michael's place. I've been there a couple of times. Hey, this is water, by the way. This is water. So we're going to go in here. I stormed the Capitol last week and I was looking homeless, now I need a disguise. So I'm gonna have this guy try to make me look a little less homeless-like. So yeah, we'll see you guys on the inside. Check on here, let's see what's going on. Yep. We are at Mifflin Street Cuts. Today we're going to talk about relationships, okay? One of the most important relationships you'll ever have is with your barber. Just trust this guy, all right? So we're going to get a cut coming over here. Clearly there's no black people in there, so I don't know what I'm getting today. Oh, you said no. You're
going to get the special.
You're going to get the special. Can you make me look like this person?
I can.
Awesome, cool. All right, so to the audience.
Matter of fact, be a good customer.
Sure.
Take your hood off.
Sure. Oh, the hoodie.
And the hat.
Okay.
And the hat off.
So the thing is, I stormed the Capitol last week, and I'm look homeless. Now I need to look a little less homeless. So he's gonna take care of me. So how long you guys been in business?
We've been in business. Joey's been in business for 20 years, but this location we've been here 4 years.
So you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Steven.
Here we go.
I'm Joseph.
Mifflin Street Cuts.
We are the proprietors of Mifflin Street Cuts.
Gotcha.
Your local neighborhood barbershop in the heart of East Passyunk, and we're just here for everyone.
Why would somebody come here as opposed to a different barbershop?
Because between us, we have about 40 years experience cutting hair.
Gotcha.
And we're a neighborhood bar. It's not a friend. I mean, excuse me, bar.
It is a bar.
My head.
It's barber.
It is a neighborhood shop. It is, look at the decor. This is real stuff. This ain't, like you go to Meister's on Passyunk Avenue, they try to replicate this,
Sure.
but this is the real deal.
And I will say something. I had an appointment, and I wasn't an hour late for the appointment.
No.
You right on time. That's
Right on
good.
time. And some of the stuff in here, like Joseph has had some of the stuff here for 20 years. You know, some of the decor, like some of the stuff I've had in my family for forever, like the Sinatras and stuff like that.
So, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Was it necessary to put that sign up there? Derogatory remarks towards anyone's race, religion, nationality, or sexual orientation? Did you have some challenges?
Yes, because sometimes people come in, they still have an old school mentality, and you have to be conscious.
Feel comfortable.
Well, you have to be conscious of different genders, races, religions. Everyone's welcome.
Good.
That's our thing. And you see, we got children, and one of the main things at the bottom that says, please curb your language when women and children are in the shop.
Gotcha.
What that means, when women and children are in here, say whatever you want to say.
Gotcha.
Open forum, as long as you're not hurting anybody. But when women and children are here, you gotta curb it.
One other thing I want to ask is how the COVID situation, how's that?
It's hurting us.
Hurt us?
It's hurting us. They shut us down for it was almost 100 days. Hurt us bad. Now when we opened it up, obviously we all have to wear masks. We're not right now because of the interview, but we're here. We're soldiers. We're not going anywhere. You know.
Gotcha.
Because if we give up, we don't eat.
Gotcha. Any final thoughts that you wanted to say before we start to get chopped up?
No, let's do it.
I see you guys.
One other question when he asked about why would anybody come here instead of other barbershops is because the experience that we had between the both of us, we do all nationalities and all different type of haircuts where other barbershops don't know how to use clippers or scissors. And we do all type of haircuts. That's the reason, one of the reasons why they come.
A lot of
here.
barbershops in general are ethnic shops. Like black people go to black shops, white people go to white shops. Here, we cut everybody. I'll cut a midget Eskimo. I'll shave a cat too on certain occasions. But
the fact that I'm here being black in this shop speaks volumes because obviously you got to trust the guy who knows what he's doing. He's got a great job. So obviously I keep coming back. So we'll see you guys on the other side. Hopefully I'll look a little more handsome the next time you see me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final touch. This is what it's all about right here.
Let's see. Any social media information?
Mifflin Street Cuts
Mifflin Street
on
Cuts.
Facebook.
On Facebook.
Addeo, ADDEO Steven, STEVN on Instagram.
Gotcha.
Joe Ferrari on Instagram.
Yep.
And
Monica, get the
Steven F. Addeo on Facebook.
their contact number, the phone number.
There you go.
Right here.
For a haircut with Joseph, call Joseph. For a haircut with me, call me.
And it looks like it's
And
closed on Sundays and Mondays?
We are closed on Sunday, any day
Okay.
except Sundays and Mondays. We never miss a day.
Gotcha.
All right, thanks DJ
Good
for
stuff.
coming in, my good friend.
Appreciate you,
Thank you.
man. Yep.
Have a good day.
Yep.